Hello students. So today through this video I'm going to discuss about the structure of human skin. Human skin, this is the largest organ of the body for the human body, and it is an almost impermeable barrier, and this part, it is the outermost covering of the body, and this organ skin, it mainly serves a number of important functions for the human body as well as for the other animals structure or for the other animal body. Now microscopically, if we observe the human skin, we will get different kind of structures. So initially or primarily we can divide the human skin into two broad types. One is called skin proper and another is known as derivatives. That means derivatives of the skin. Now skin proper, in this part, the skin proper. So here the skin proper, wait, here the skin proper, it is further divided into two main layers. The outer layer of the skin proper is known as epidermis, and the inner layer of the skin proper, and it is a thick layer of the skin proper, is known as dermis. So skin proper, it has the outer thin layer epidermis and the inner thick layer dermis. Now if we observe the epidermis part, epidermis, it mainly consists of three sublayers, and these sublayers are the outermost layer of the epidermis known as stratum corneum. It is also called as cornified layer, and it is the outermost layer of the epidermal part that consisting of several piled up layers of flattened dead cells, and these dead cells are mainly made of a fibrous structural protein, and that structural protein known as keratin. So this keratin protein, which is mainly present there, it is also found in other parts like nails, hairs, horns, hooves, and as well as in silk. Okay. The second part, which is known as the middle sublayer of the epidermal part, that is called the stratum granulosum, or it is also called as granular layer. It is a very thin layer, and here it mainly consists of two or three sublayers, and these are all made up of flattened cells. The third innermost layer of the epidermal part is called as stratum malpighi, or it is also called as stratum germinativum. Now it is called germinativum because cellular division mainly occurred in this part. So new cells mainly form here, and these cells shifting outwardly to replace the worn out cells of the outermost stratum corneum. Now in our body, the pigmentation of the human skin is mainly due to one structure, one molecule that is called as melanin pigment, and that melanin pigment, it is mainly found in this stratum malpighi layer. So this is about the epidermis portion of the skin proper. Now if we move to the dermis part, as I already mentioned, dermis, this is the inner thick layer of the skin proper, and if we observe the dermis, here different kind of structures are present like elastic fibers, blood vessels, and nerve fibers. Now in this diagram you can see that there are two main layers they have shown. One is this epidermis layer, that means this part is mainly known as epidermis layer, and the lower portion of the skin proper, that is called the dermis layer. Now in between this, the outer region of the dermis, that means this is the outer part of the dermis that lies next to the epidermis. So here in this layer, wait, I need to change the color. So here in this part you can see this is the transitional zone of dermis and the epidermal layer. So outer part of the dermis, this is the outer part of the dermis that lies next to the epidermal part, is raised into numerous small processes, and these are called as papillae. and it mainly contains blood capillaries as well as nerve endings. So you can see the blood vessels or the nerve endings are also present here. So the end part of the nerve fiber and the end part of the blood capillaries are mainly connected with this portion, and this particular portion is mainly lies next to the epidermal part, and it is the front part of the dermis, and it is called as papilla. So here the nerve endings and the blood capillaries are present. Now in these nerve ending portions there are different sense organs are present, and that sense organs or sensory parts are mainly concerned with the sensation of touch and pain. There are some more there are some more sense receptors are also present there in the deeper parts of this dermis portion, and these are concerned with the sensation of pressure, pain, heat, cold, etc. That means the sensory receptors, these are mainly present in the dermis portion. There are the nerve endings present here, and there are the sensory receptors are mainly present there in the dermis portion, and these receptors, they are mainly concerned with the touch, pain, pressure, pain, heat, cold, etc. So these way dermis, they are helping us to concerned about the external or any kind of environmental changes. So this is about the dermis part of the skin proper. Now if you come to the derivatives of the skin part, that is the second broad portion of the human skin. So here, these human skin, there are different kind of structures are mainly derived from the human skin, and we can say these are the derivatives part of the human skin. Like here nails, here the nails, mammary glands, sweat glands, and sebaceous glands. Now first, if we move, if we talk about the hair, just wait. First we need to remove this. Okay, so here, now here you can see here, this is the structure of hair. I need to change the color. Wait, red color I am taking. So here, this is the part which is showing you, and it is the structure of hair. Now in the hair there are three main parts are present. The uppermost part of the hair, this portion is called the hair shaft. Then the part which is embedded in the dermis portion, the part which is embedded in the dermis portion, that is called as hair root. And this hair root is mainly enclosed by a structure that is called the hair follicle. And at the base, the swollen base of the hair, that is called the hair bulb. So hair bulb that mainly contains a projection of the dermis that called hair papilla. That means in this hair papilla there is the connection of blood capillaries. So with proper supply of blood vessels are mainly there. So here if we see here, it mainly consists of outermost part which is mainly exposed outside, that is called the hair shaft. Then the part which is embedded in the dermis portion, that is called the hair follicle, and that hair follicle is mainly enclosed by the hair follicle. So hair root, sorry, the part which is embedded there in the dermis, that is the hair root, and it is mainly enclosed by the hair follicle. So actually they have given here the labeling should be there, hair follicle, and the hair bulb is there, that is the deepest part of the hair portion, and it mainly contains a projection of the dermis, and that called hair papilla. So this is about the hair. Now the second uh, derived or the second derivative of the skin, if you observe, we can say this is nail. So nails are hardened keratinous plate-like structures that mainly grow as dead cells, mainly from the nail root, and it mainly lies below the skin at the base. Actually, in the nail parts, there are also three main sub parts are present, and that means it mainly made up of three parts, that is called nail plate, nail root, and the matrix part. Next, if we move to the mammary gland that is also called as milk gland, and this mammary gland or the milk gland, it is mainly present in the human skin, and thus we are mammalian group. That means we are under the class mammalia, because in case of human, the mammary glands are mainly present there, and it is also called as milk gland. Why it is called milk gland? Because it mainly secretes milk. Okay, now the activity of the mammary glands is mainly related to the reproductive hormones like prolactin, and it also engaged in the pregnancy. Okay, that means the activity of the mammary glands is also stimulated, also influenced in the pregnancy time. Now, this milk, which is secreted from the mammary glands, and it is very high, it is highly nutritious, and it is very important for the growing baby, for the newborn baby. So this is about the mammary gland. Now next, if we come for the sweat glands, if we talk about the sweat glands, now sweat gland, actually here you can see the sweat gland, the labeling is given that this part, the sweat gland, this is the sweat gland. So here the sweat gland, that is a simple coiled, you can see the coiled structure actually there. This is a coiled tube, and it mainly consisting of a deeper secretory part and an excretory part. So the excretory part that mainly runs upwardly to open on the surface. So in the surface we can see the pores, and we call them as sweat pores. So the secretion mainly done through the bottom part of the sweat gland, and it mainly comes out through this tube finally to the outer surface by the sweat pores. And obviously, as you all know, sweat is mainly helping in the excretion process, because through the sweating we mainly release the urea, although it is in little amount, 0.08% urea we are mainly releasing through the sweat. Next, if we talk about the sebaceous glands, sebaceous gland, that is also called as oil gland. Okay, now these sebaceous gland, it usually open into the hair follicle. Here it is written as oil gland. It's labeled as oil gland. That part, this one is actually known as the sebaceous gland. Now it actually open into a hair follicle, though sometimes they even open directly to the outside. Now, this oil gland or sebaceous gland, as it is known as oil gland, that means it mainly gives out an oily secretion, and that oily secretion is also known as sebum. And that sebum mainly makes the hair and the outer surface of the skin oily and waterproof. Okay, so there are various type of problems occur in the facial part of the skin, and it mainly due to the problem in the sebaceous gland or in the oil gland. Okay, so this is about the last derivative part of the skin which I have mentioned here, that is the sebaceous gland. So this is about the human skin and their different structures. So hope you like this video, and thank you for watching this video.